What is going on, everyone? My name is Papa T, and this is going to be a video about my overall just views and opinions and just thoughts about the new Invisible Woman who just dropped last night with the new update. Now, obviously, just aesthetically looking, she's very pleasing, right? Overall, I think the game itself is just very aesthetically pleasing, so I'm not surprised with that. I think the artwork they did is very good. And so, but let's look into the deeper part, the part that we actually care about, which is her abilities, right? So, obviously, looking here, we can see her aura projection is like obviously her main attack, right? Now I was messing around with her a little bit. We'll get more into that as the video goes along, but this is something that I wish could be a little bit better, but I'll tell you why if you keep watching. So obviously she has a launch. She can launch a force field that can pierce heroes, flying maximum distance before returning to Invisible Woman and damaging enemies and healing teammates. My only concern here is that obviously she's a support player, a healer, whatever you want to call him, a strategist, and so distance is key, but here she has the ability to only shoot a maximum distance before returning back to her. Though they return back, they don't actually, you actually lose that shot, so it doesn't actually like regain. It's not unlimited like Namor, if that makes sense. Obviously, team abilities, there's no shock here that's going to be with Mr. Fantastic, right? That's the part of the Fantastic Four. But let's see. So it taps into her powers, channeling the psionic might to fortify the entire Fantastic Four team. The formidable force, again, just two of them. The formidable force bolsters Mr. Fantastic, granting damage resistance once activated. They can continually generate bonus health, making for her lost health with each passing moment. Okay. Now, if you guys saw the release of the Marvel Rivals kind of YouTube or TikToks or whatever, you can obviously see that this is the most important part, is the ult. Everyone cares about the ultimate ability. Here, it manifests an unseen force field within a chosen area, rendering allies inside undetectable by enemies and providing healing over time. Enemies that pass through the field are slowed. Now, this is clearly going to be a huge important part in, I think, competitive, because obviously if you can kind of eliminate the entire field as a whole at the same time while healing them, that allows teams to kind of push forward, especially if you're kind of putting it in front or in the path that you guys are going, if that makes sense. Now, what I've been playing with recently, and I'll show you this again, is the Psionic Vortex and the Force Physics, to me, are the most powerful tools that she has. I think there could be some deadly combinations with the two of them that can easily kind of wipe out enemies, especially retreating enemies who are trying to get back to their healers. Agile Strike, I play a mouse and keyboard, however I always forget to use my left shift, so this is something I'll have to work on. But the biggest thing that I think is really important for her is her mobility. Now with the new update, they decreased Mantis's mobility, and which I hate because I'm a Mantis player. I like the fact that she's quite quick and kind of roam around, kind of hit some shots and kind of get back. But with Invisible Woman, her ability to kind of double jump or jump and move at a very fast and effective pace is a huge game changer when it comes to playing a game like this, where sometimes getting away is the most powerful tool you have, right? The other thing that's cool about it is that when you do that ability, it also propels you into a visible state, obviously allowing you to move undetected, if that makes sense. So perhaps maybe you are trying to chase down a Captain America who's one shot, double jumping, moving invisibly, and then landing behind him, causing the vortex using your physics. That might be the best play overall. And then obviously her Guardian Shield. Her Guardian Shield is kind of like a mini shield, if you will. It allows you to heal over time, but it also slows enemies who are pushing. This could be a good way to maybe help your tank, if you will, who's getting pushed on quickly by a DPS. Give him a little bit of health, also slow him down. But let's get into it and kind of see what she can actually do. So obviously here it looks like she's invisible. I'm not really sure if she is invisible. I'd have to see what that looks like. No, I guess she is invisible. Yep. So you can see right there when you start shooting, she is. I personally don't know if I like the fact that how long it takes to kill someone, especially if you're hitting a lot of headshots. Mantis kills in like 3 shots with a headshot, and so this is a little bit of time. But the important part that I was talking about earlier is her range. So it looks like it's far, but you can see about right this distance here, we're at a max distance away. This distance here, so if you're like a healer, you're gonna have to be a little bit more involved maybe than you want to be, but that's not a big deal. So looking at her actual special abilities though, we have the Vortex, which about there is slows down the enemy as well as it kind of causes damage. The other one that I think is most kind of important though is her ability to actually move people. So we have the ability to launch inwards and we have the ability to launch outwards. So inwards brings them in a little bit, not too far, but outwards, especially up against the wall, is quite deadly. As you can see there, It causes a lot of damage there.
Even saw me coming.
It doesn't move them a ton. The reason I think that these two, however, can be extremely dangerous when we're playing this game is because when used together, we can kind of create a vortex or a constant source of damage, just like Moon Knight, but also bring them back to it. So say we put that down there, we can bring that enemy completely. We can make it to where essentially they do not leave that entire time during the vortex while the vortex lasts. That makes sense. I think that combination together will be extremely dangerous on a retreating person. Also, with that being said, you could also theoretically put it back there and then put him back into it, but the problem is how far does it actually shoot them back? I am curious to know if there's a difference in size, and maybe this is something I can work on a little bit later in a different video, but I'm curious to know if there's a bigger character, if they go farther back, or if they stay, whatnot. Now, obviously, as you can see here, the ult, we're not going to be able to see the ult and its effects here in this gameplay, but you can see here that it's quite a large area, right? And so if we're moving forward, say we're pushing this way towards that, I don't know, platform up there, putting that down, all these enemies in here are invisible, but as well as getting healed over time. So this is a humongous area in which you could definitely easily push forward and heal. It doesn't last super long, as you just saw there, but overall I think it's going to be powerful. Now, moving forward, let's see what this actual melee attack is like. Okay, it's not bad. That third one, though, is an important one where it launches them backwards. I think that's going to be key because, again, her abilities, Invisible Woman's abilities, are all about kind of creating space. This is interesting. I didn't know that if you shot this guy, he would actually return back to his base. Invisible Woman's abilities are all about kind of creating space and allowing your team to heal, right? And so that's what her abilities and the jumping abilities are. That's what her abilities are in the force. Either forwards or backwards. I'll show you what it looks like when we launch them inwards. So it's not super far, but this also could be a deadly combination where if we're in this area here, we're fighting them, you could easily, say we're fighting like close to close, you could easily launch the vortex, bring him in, hit him 3 times, and then finish him off quickly. Now, obviously she is a healer or support or strategist, whatever you want to call her. And so let's actually show you what that looks like up here. Let's obviously hit Luna Snow once. And then moving over here, so we can see what that shield does right there. That shield heals at a pretty good rate, in my opinion. Also, like I said, it slows down enemies. It has a 300 hit point, which is pretty good. Thinking about Doctor Strange, is she was 800, right? 300 is actually not bad. That can last quite a bit of time. As we can see, it also heals, but then also we can heal ourselves too. You can see here, let's see, it automatically healed them fully. Interestingly enough, they are still being shot, but I think it's just because this is all, they're just straight in front of them. But overall, I think her abilities are actually quite amazing. I think as a healer who kind of plays more as a healer and maybe less as a hybrid, like a Mantis player, I think this is a great kind of character to play. I think it's actually like a step up, in my opinion, from like a Cloak and Dagger. It's like a mixture between the two, in my opinion. I think her abilities are forcing powers, her psionic vortex, as well as her force physics, make her more like a DPS player, if that makes sense. But her lack of like seemingly unlimited range, as well as the way in which she heals people, reminds me of a Cloak and Dagger. I don't know, overall I think this is going to be very good. Let me guys know what you guys think. I'm looking forward to it. Comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future as well. This is only my second YouTube video ever. I'm trying to learn, trying to grow. I'm trying to get 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'll see y'all later.